Hello guys, welcome to the market commentary for today. Before we start, let's just crack on and put the disclaimers up in the top left hand corner. Obviously disclaimers are there for legal reasons, but also important for you guys to understand that these kind of videos are demonstrations only. Now my name's Becky, my name is down there, my picture is down there, you can see my face anyway, and my email address is becky@tradictive.com. There's also support@tradictive.com, which is another email you can use if you do need to get hold of us or have any questions. There's also another place you can go to ask questions, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. From here, you can set yourself up with a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top, and then you can come down and ask a question in this space, which is great because if you ask a question in that space, I can answer it there, which means everybody can learn from this area. Everybody can come and learn from questions that have come before and post questions that could also help other people later down the line with any questions they might have. So if you do feel comfortable, by all means, please use tradewithufos.com/Becky to ask your questions. Okay, so the 3D market commentary, that's what we're here to look at. And this is what happens. So every day we send out an email to our people in our database that are free members, that have a free membership with us. And in that newsletter, which we send out, it has information on 5 major world markets, and we look at 3 main elements per market, hence a 3D approach. So what we do is we want to look at, for each of these 5 major world markets, where do we have probabilities? Where's the upcoming market direction? Is it going up? Is it going down? Therefore, should we buy or should we sell? Or should we go long? Should we go short? Where are the probabilities? Now, first things first, in order to understand this, we use technology to help us out. We use what's called AutoClimate, which, by the way, is a free app on most platforms you can use it on. It's a free app. And what AutoClimate does is it tells us where the probabilities lie, where the upcoming market direction is. If we have a thick blue dot on our AutoClimate, that tells us probability is upwards. We should probably look to buy. If we had a thick red dot on our AutoClimate, that tells us probability is downwards, therefore we should probably look to sell. And if we have a thin dot of either colour, like one of these or one of these, that tells us not enough probability either way, do nothing. So it helps us answer that first question of what we should be doing. Should we buy, sell or do nothing? That's what AutoClimate helps us to do. So we'll look at this for each of our 5 markets. We also want to know, where are the buyers and sellers? Where are the unfilled orders? What that means is, where do we have buy orders waiting? Where do we have sell orders waiting? Now, why is that important? It's important because if we're buying, we want to buy where there's lots of other buyers, because the only way price can go up of anything is if you have more buyers than sellers. And so buying where there are lots of other buyers gives us more probability that we're right and that price goes up. If we're selling, we want to sell where there's lots of other sellers, because the only way price can go down is if we have more sellers than buyers. And so we want to know where the bulk of sellers are so we can sell with them. Again, we use an app that helps us, AutoUFOs. This is a paid for app. It depends on which platform you use as to the cost. So by all means, go check it out on the different platforms that we use it on, which is MetaTrader, TradingView and TradeStation so far, as well as Top, our new platform. Now we have green UFOs. Those tell us where the buy orders are, and it even tells us the prices on the right hand side. We then have red UFOs. Those tell us where the sell orders are, and again we have prices on the right hand side. So it's telling us exactly where the buyers and sellers are, which really help us to be specific about where we buy and sell. Then we want to know market volatility. How quickly are these markets moving, and therefore what's the associated risk and reward that could come from that. So we'll look at each of these elements per market, starting with the S&P 500. Now, each of these markets, we are looking at the futures for them. So we're looking at essentially representations of them, and we're looking at daily charts. And of course, different things happen on different time frames. These are relevant to daily charts, the data that we're going to go through today. So basically, we are looking at right now on the right hand side, we are looking at a representation of the US stock market. Okay, so with this, we have a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot, probability upwards there on the US stock market. We have stats here that tell us that usually this market goes up for 8.81 candles. I'm just going to round that up to 9. So it usually goes up for 9 candles, and we're on candle number 4, which tells us that based on what usually happens, we still have room to move to the upside. Now we have buy UFOs here. we have that's at 44.40.50 to 43.47.75. That's our closest stack of buy orders that we should be aware of. If price were to come back and hit them, we would expect that it would go up from there. Now, bear in mind, all of these things that I'm talking about are to do with probabilities and statistics. Doesn't make it definite. Nothing's ever definite in life, let alone the markets. So we still manage our risk in case we're wrong. We still may add or change certain variables in order to increase probability. For us, what we want to know is where the probabilities are in the first place to even begin the journey of looking for trades. There's no point placing trades where you don't have probability. So that's where we're looking at. Oh, that's what we're looking at here. So with volatility on the S&P, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year of 17.41%, which means in a day, up or down of 49.25 points, in a week, up or down of 108.42 points, and in 1 month, up or down of 225.69 points. So overall with the S&P, we would expect movement to the upside based on the statistics that we have here. Okay, so moving on to the next market, which is oil. Now, in the meantime, it says here about the different courses that we do. You can take a course with us in futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, and psychology. Most of them come with 3 months complimentary. Oh, sorry about that. Most of them come with 3 months complimentary access to the apps. AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms. You can get it on anyway. AutoUFOs is a paid-for app. Now, you can subscribe directly to AutoUFOs and simply just use the app. You don't have to do a course at all. However, most of the time, based on the prices of the courses and the prices of the apps, it's actually cheaper to get a course and get 3 months of a complimentary access to the apps than it is for just doing the apps for those 3 months, if that makes sense. So check that out, depending on which courses work better for you and where you would be using the apps. It might actually work out cheaper for you anyway to do a course. Okay, so with oil, we have an unconfirmed climate. We have a thin dot here. Doesn't matter the colour. All we know is it's a thin dot, meaning not enough probabilities either way, not enough data to call it, which means we would move on, change time frame, change market. Now we have sell orders here at 71.96 to 69.19. They've already worked here to push price down. In fact, they worked twice. So price came in, went down, came back in, went down. That's what those sell orders have already done, is push price down. That's why we want to know where they are so that we can sell with them. So if price were to come back up and touch it again, wouldn't be surprised to see it fall back down again. For the time being, not yet there, of course. We have buy orders here, which again have already worked. That's between 60.77 to 58.73. Again, price came in here and went off and hasn't come back yet. Hasn't even come back yet. So strong buy orders here that, again, if price were to come down and hit them, wouldn't be surprised to see them go back up again. For the time being, not enough probability either way with the climate, closer to the sell orders. So if we were to see price hit those sell orders, we may see price come down. Obviously not there yet. So overall undecided with oil today. Now, in terms of volatility on oil, we'd expect that in a year it would move up or down by 35.6%, which means 1.52 points up or down in a day, 3.35 points up or down in a week, and 6.97 points up or down in 1 month. So that's oil. Okay, moving on to the next market, which is going to be gold. Now, it says there as well in the meantime about coaching and support. We do a whole bunch of coaching and support for free, so by email or obviously in these sessions that you can join us on. So by all means do that. We also have a closed coaching environment where people pay a small monthly fee in order to have access to more of our time in a closed environment. So check that out if that suits you. Otherwise, we do a lot of stuff for free anyway. Okay, so with gold, we have an unconfirmed climate. It's a thin dot, unconfirmed, undecided, not enough probabilities either way. That's not surprising considering we have buy and sell orders kind of on top of each other here. Closest stack of sell orders is 1812.2 to 1802.6, and then we have buy orders down here 1759.6 to 1742.6. So we've had recently price been pushed up by buy orders, it's then hit sell orders, come back down, not knowing what it's doing. Unsurprising that we have an unconfirmed climate. If we don't have enough probability either way, we change time frame, we change market. No need to trade something that doesn't have probabilities at least one way or the other. Now with gold, in terms of volatility in a year, we'd expect movement up or down of 15.9%, which in a day is 17.9 points up or down. In a week, 39.41 points up or down, and in a month, 82.04 points up or down. So that's what we'd expect there for gold. So next market is the US dollar. Now the US dollar is responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide daily. So whether you trade it or not, be aware of it. It's likely to impact most other trades that you could be taking, I'm sure. Okay, so we have an unconfirmed climate again on the dollar. Thin red dot there. Doesn't matter the colour, doesn't matter that it says down. What matters is that it's thin, it's unconfirmed, not enough probability either way. So if you were trading it, you would change time frame or change market. So when it comes to sell orders and buy orders, we're closer to the buy orders here at 92.665 to 92.47, expecting that if price were to hit these, they would go up. We then have sell orders here at 93.75 to 93.455, again expecting that if price were to go up and hit them, they would come down. For the time being, in between either of them and an undecided climate, so again, not much to do here with the dollar today. In terms of volatility, we'd expect that in a year, it would move up or down by 5.37%, which in a day is up or down of 0.31 points. In a week, 0.69 points up or down, and in 1 month, 1.44 points up or down. So that's the US dollar. So lots of indecision today on most of our markets. Saying that, we have one more market to look at, which is backed Bitcoin, and that looks like we do have some probability upwards here. So we have a confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot, probability upwards. Now, with Bitcoin, because it's not as old as the other markets, we don't know how long it usually goes up for or down for, because it's not been around long enough for us to have the data to say what usually happens. So we're kind of in the dark there. What we do know is that we're on candle number 26 to the upside, tells us there, but we don't know whether or not that's normal. Now, probability upwards with the climate, and we have buy orders very, very close that we're actually within right now, or just come off of right now, at 47,167.5 to 43,945. Price has gone in, reacted, and it's just just on its way out, which is what we expect buy orders to push price up. So excuse me. So we have a confirmed upwards climate with the auto climate, and we have buy orders beneath us. Sell orders a little way above at 57,975 to 54,500. So overall probability up there for Bitcoin for the time being. Now in terms of volatility on Bitcoin, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year of 91.23%, which in a day is up or down of 2,699.34. In a week, it's up or down of 5,942.33, and in a month, up or down of 12,369.94. So a little bit more volatile than the others, be aware of it. So that's each of our 5 markets now that we've gone through. We've looked at the climate for each of them. Where do we have probabilities up or down, and for how long based on what usually happens. We've looked at where we have buyers and sellers that could push price up or down from those areas. And we've looked at volatility, how quickly we would expect these markets to move. Now, if you have questions on any of the apps that we're using, the courses, the coaching, memberships, you can self-schedule a clarification call, chat with one of our experts, figure out what's going to be best for you. Now, just before we round off, let's just come down and have a look at our weekly economic calendar. We get this from FX Street, and we filter by high impact news. So essentially, we want to know what scheduled news reports could have an impact on the markets today or in the next few days. Reason for that is not because we care what the news says and therefore we're making decisions on that. It's that if it's likely to have a high impact, that could increase volatility. If you're on the wrong side of volatility, not great. If you're on the right side of volatility, that is great. So it's not a good or bad thing. It's just for you to be aware of, to then interpret that depending on the type of trader you are. Are you risk averse or do you embrace risk? Neither one of those are right or wrong. That's up to you to answer that question. So today being Thursday, we have news on the US dollar coming out, and we have news on the Australian dollar coming out. So if you trade those markets, perhaps be aware that we have news coming out on those markets. If you have any other questions, you can email me, becky@tradictive.com, or of course there is tradewithufos.com/Becky. Get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership up here. You'll get the email every day with this information on 5 major world markets. You can book one-on-one coaching with me here as well, and you can come down and ask a question in this space, which can mean that I could answer it there and other people can learn from it. So I'll be back tomorrow with another market commentary. I'll also be doing a stock session tomorrow, so I'll see you there. Otherwise, guys, have fun for the rest of the day. Hope you have a great trading day, and I will see you next time.